Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All righty, welcome in to another edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are locked and loaded today, all Tampa Bay sports as we do it, folks. You know, 2 hours of Tampa Bay-centric sports here. My man Timmy Ham is joining us in our Dallas studio. We're going to run right into it today. What's up, Timmy? How are you?
Doing well. Waiting for the heat wave to come here in Dallas and getting my fix, not the outcome. I'm sure we'll talk about it later in the WBC, but had the first four. March Madness started last night, and it did not disappoint.
We had a buzzer beater for Texas, right?
Absolutely. One second left.
That? Yeah, so we got a great show for you today. Jim Lighthall, Bulls play-by-play man, is already up in Buffalo. They're headed over to the arena this morning, so we will catch up with him just before they hit the bus ride over there, get the feel for what the boys are feeling like. Are they loose? Are they tight? Guessing they're pretty loose. They got nothing to lose, right? Let's go. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk some USF basketball, March Madness, and then that'll be from 10:10 to 10:30 with him. Charlie Strong's going to come in studio at 10:45 to join us, talk a little football. We got some Mike Evans news as well. And he just returned from the Lou Holtz funeral, which was on Monday up in South Bend, which was an amazing event. So we will talk about that as well with Coach Strong. And then 11:30, Johnny Gerber, our PGA Pro, is going to join us to give us some more winners at 11:30 and preview the Valspar. That's a show. That's a show, my friend, right there. That is one heck of a show. So we're going to dig right in right away with the Lightning last night. If you stayed up late, they win a big game in Seattle, 6-2. Nikita Kucherov, 5 points last night. His seventh hat trick, ninth hat trick of his career. Seventh 5-point game. I think I just screwed that up, but I didn't bring my glasses this morning, so I'm having a hard time reading my notes. Kucherov's 5-point night was the ninth of his career, passing Pittsburgh's Evgeny Malkov for third most among active players. And the seventh player in NHL history with 4 straight 110-point seasons, joining, tell me if you've heard of these guys, Wayne Gretzky, Mike Bossy, Guy Lafleur, have to say it that way, Phil Esposito, Marcel Dion, have to say that way, and McKinnon. Yep. In addition, Kucherov's plus 37 this season is his best since the 2014-15 campaign, his first full NHL season. Is that good?
Seems like it might be good.
Yeah. The line of Kucherov, Hagel, and Cirelli combined for 12 points. Hagel had 4, Cirelli 3, and scored 3 5-on-5 goals. That's what we need. Your best players got to be your best players. And as Coop said last night, they were like dogs on a bone. It's the most aggressive we've played in a while, said Coop. And so when we're doing that, we can play pretty well. And I just thought we were hounding the pucks. They were dogs on a bone all night, and that really helped us. So good to get a couple of points back in the win column there. So as we check the updated standings this morning, I think as of yesterday, the Lightning were 3 points out of the bottom position in the second wild card. So Detroit is at 82, and Tampa Bay is at 86 this morning. That's 2 losses. 2 losses, and you're out of the playoffs. And they're 4 points from first place. This is bananas. I don't think I've ever seen it this tight, ever. Now, they've got 2 games in hand with Buffalo. Buffalo's played 68. The Bolts have played 66. They're 4 points behind them, so if they win those games, obviously they're even. Montreal at 84. And then the 2 wild cards at Boston and Detroit are both with 82, and Columbus has 81 points. I mean, that is just as tight as it gets. As tight as it gets. In terms
make for an exciting finish. That's for dang sure.
I mean, there's so many of the. I mean, if you're Buffalo in first, you could miss the playoffs with a month to go in the season. That's unheard of. And it wouldn't be hard. Tampa Bay's in second place and they're only 4 points out of being out of the playoffs. Bananas. So, as playoffs start now. I mean, you got to win every game. You got to win every game. So add an extra month to the playoffs. It's already the hardest trophy to win. So now add an extra month. Good for you. All right. So, Jimmy Lighthall is going to join us in a little bit. So I want to hit some other stuff quick. You had some breaking news on the Mike Evans contract. I wanted to get to this just to further piss people off.
Yeah. So, the reported, what was it? 3 years, $60.4 million.
That was the reported contract, right?
That is the reported contract. And now we're getting the details of what it actually is. And it is so incentive laden that it now makes it even more damning to the Bucs about him not being there and how little money this contract is probably actually going to pay out to him. So the first thing is the signing bonus, which is hefty. It is a $12 million signing bonus. His salary for 2026, $1.3 million, fully guaranteed. He has a workout bonus for 2026, $150,000.
That
he has to earn. It's regular. An active roster bonus of $850,000, fully guaranteed for 2026, which means
this is chump change.
If he gets hurt, well, that's almost $1 million a game. If he gets hurt, he doesn't get that, which is a significant part of his deal. 2027, if he's on the roster, $12.5 million. Another $1.5 million base salary for 2027. The same workout bonus, $150,000 per game. The same active roster bonus, $850,000 per game. In 2028, the option bonus for the team is $10.95 million. His base salary in 2028, $1.7 million, with the same workout and the same active roster bonus, which means that basically he comes out to about $14 million a year, which is what we sort of anticipated.
If he plays every game.
If he plays every single game.
So if he doesn't play a game, if he gets hurt, he doesn't get paid for that week?
He's out $850,000 per game, correct.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen a contract like that.
And
so it totally also protects the 49ers against any hamstring pulls.
Correct. Wow. You think the Bucs wouldn't have offered that if they don't agree to that?
He wouldn't have. That would have been an insult if the Bucs offered him that. Seriously, it would have been an insult.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and that $14 million per year that he's earning puts him at the bottom 30 in wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Man. So he wanted to play for the 49ers. Boy, did he ever.
Not only did he want out of Tampa Bay, he wanted to go to San Francisco.
So when we're hearing reports from Albert Breer, obviously a very reputable source, that things got weird over the weekend with the organization. That was his quote. They got real. And then no goodbye note for a few days to the fans. And then when he writes it, no mention of the Glazers or the organization whatsoever. Ooh,
not
Lordy. We went from I want to be a Buck for life, forever.
It didn't last very long.
To get out of here. Wow.
Yeah.
I just, again, if you're a Buck fan, it's just not a good look. It's not. And you can blame Mike all you want, but you look what the Bucs have done now in free agency, and they're clearly not in keeping a 500 coach. We've detailed it all the re-signing their horrible punter. I mean, everything they've done is just absolutely screams rebuild.
Yeah.
Even keeping the coach, we'll keep him for another year so we don't have to pay him off. We're just going to pack the roster with draft picks and younger players, get some place fillers like Anzalone, and then rebuild in 27.
Yeah.
I mean, it screams. And they didn't make it either they didn't make a serious offer to Mike, or they pissed him off so much that he just didn't even want to play here whatsoever.
Yeah, because that San Francisco deal came to fruition pretty quick.
Yeah, I never heard the 49ers were even in it. Was that even a team that was ever even mentioned?
Nope. Never heard of their names. It was all Washington, New England.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to the WBC and other stuff in the race here in a little bit. Right now, we're going to talk some college basketball, March Madness. It's so great to have Bulls play-by-play man Jim Lighthall live from Buffalo. Hell, it's cold here. It's got to be cold in Buffalo. What's up, Jimmy? How are you?
Hey, JP. Good to talk with you again. Yeah, it's 19 degrees here right now in Buffalo. A little out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, many of us as well. And maybe that's why Coach Hodgson says, I think I want to stay in Tampa a little bit longer. I've tried not to talk anything about other jobs because I think it's completely disrespectful, and that's stuff that we can talk about at other times. But there is a report out there that he said no to Syracuse, so that's good. We can say that's good for Bulls fans to know. And I would have to say, Jimmy, and you're with the team right now, they're pretty locked in on this, and that's all they're thinking about.
Absolutely. I just came up from breakfast with everybody and some film, and Coach was actually going through with the players because there's an open practice coming here in about an hour. And those guys haven't been accustomed to that, where reporters are in the locker room. Of course, it's mandatory that all teams do this, and everything's fair game. So he was kind of coaching them a little bit as far as what to say, obviously being very positive about Buffalo. There's going to be a lot of schools that didn't want to come to Buffalo. But obviously for South Florida, and the first time in 14 years in the NCAA tournament, we didn't really care where we went. And he's from Buffalo. Yeah. He's from Buffalo. So, this place is going to be full of Brian Hodgson fans, full of South Florida fans, whether or not they have South Florida gear or not. And then the other thing, JP, that people aren't talking about is we're right across the border from Canada, and we've got 4 Canadians on our roster. So that's right. So that's going to be a de facto home team for those people as well that want to come over and see NCAA basketball. And really going back to what you're talking about with Coach Hodgson and potential jobs, listen, there's going to be talk about this. This is going to be a hot topic this week and maybe into next week. Hopefully. But here's the thing, is that other schools aren't looking for coaches that had bad years. So I think everyone that's in this travel party will say, listen, if we have to go through this distraction every year, that's fine, because that means we had a great year.
Yeah, and it also means he's a really good coach. He's a really good coach. When programs like that are looking at you, that means you've done something right. All right, so give me a little bit more flavor for where the guys are at. Obviously, this is totally new for all these cats, except for Brian. Obviously, he's done. I'm guessing he coached in the tournament with Alabama, right? Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, he told the story about being in Boise. First time he ever went, and he goes, all the other teams were moaning about being in Boise and the weather sucks and everything, and the fans turned on those teams because they're like, well, this is my hometown. Don't badmouth it. And so that's kind of why he was talking about Buffalo a little bit to them. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'm sure he pointed out all the good things about Buffalo and Niagara Falls.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
So here's some talking points, guys. When they ask you about being a Buffalo, I love Buffalo. The wings are great here. Absolutely.
The wings are great.
Do we have has he already named his favorite wing restaurant in Buffalo? Do we know that?
He has not. No, he has not. We have not had a lot of time. It's been on the go because the NCAA keeps you hopping. That's the one thing that I forgot about with this tournament, is that everything is planned out. You have to be at point A at a certain time, point B at a certain time. They do not give you a whole lot of downtime.
Yeah, we will have you out right at 10:30 so you can get on that bus.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about. Obviously I wasn't there for the conference tournament, but they played 2 really, really good games, and it just seemed to me the usual USF. They just go on that they wear you down, and then they go on that devastating 15-2 run. It seems to happen every game. And it's kind of been their secret sauce. And then they hold the lead. They really know how to hold the lead. So that seemed to be the formula there in Birmingham as well.
Yeah, JP, I think this team is, there's the cliche about peaking at the right time. This team is peaking at the right time. You want to do it in March. You want to do it in the middle of March. And this team went into the conference tournament with a target on their back, and they delivered. Dezane Mingo was sensational for Charlotte in their first couple of games, and there was so much talk around this guy that he can't be stopped. I was talking with the Charlotte people before our game in the semifinal, and they're like, our team is all bought in. Well, we're going to beat USF's ass, so we want a piece of those guys. They're not ready for us. Well, they found out real quick how good this South Florida team is. And listen, for everything that's being said about Wes Enos and his ability to make threes, and he's a first-team all-conference player and a big-time scorer, what he did at the defensive end in both of ththose games, JP, was absolutely stunning. He shut Mingo down in the semifinal. And then you talk about a guy named Kenyon Giles, who's a first-team all-conference selection, who can get buckets at any time he wants to get buckets or thinks he can. And Wes Enos put him on total lockdown, turned his water off. He was super frustrated, couldn't do anything at the offensive end. And then, as you said, they put a run together. Then they just constrict you like a snake to the point where you can't breathe anymore.
Yeah, the last game I saw them play at home, they're when they go to that double team at the top. It's kind of off a pick and roll. They hedge and then they double team, and Isaiah comes in double teams. They get so many turnovers out of that, and it's absolutely suffocating the way. And the way I love watching them play defense is when that double team comes, the other three guys know exactly where to be in the passing lanes, and that seems to be really one of their best defensive sets. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and to your point, those other three guys know what pass they can give up, and that pass is, from where the sideline meets the half court line all the way to the other corner. So you're talking about a 44-foot pass that's going to loop over the top, and they're going to get either a hand on that, or they're going to be able to recover defensively on a pass like that, or they're going to get a steal. And you're right, when Isaiah Nelson comes out there to double team, I mean, Kenyon Giles is 5'10" on a good day.
Exactly.
He can't see over the top of that. He couldn't see over the top of that, and had to get rid of the ball as quickly as he could before he stuck. And I remember one time he was trapped, had to call timeout in the middle of the game because he literally had no place to go. So when they start throwing that at people, it's a real problem. And they're turning people over, JP, at a really high rate, which is only good if you do something with that. And their points off turnovers are also way up here in the last month. This is a team that scores almost 88 points a game. They were over 90 for most of the year. But I think on the defensive end, they have gotten so much better as the year has gone on. Remember at the start of the year in November and December, man, they were like a screen door on a submarine. Yeah. They were ineffective, and they couldn't stop anybody. And everybody's like, this defensive effort stinks. They're going to have to win every game 100-95. Well, man, has that changed, and they're holding teams under 70, under 60 on a routine basis. The shot percentages are down. The three-point percentages are way down against them over the last month. And I think that's the part that people underestimate with this team is their defensive ability, just because their offense gets so much press.
Yeah, and run down some of the rebounding numbers, if you would, as well. I'm sure you got those on the top of your head. They're not an overly big team, but they rebound the heck out of the ball. They're a strong they're not tall across the board, but they're strong as hell.
Yeah, well, Isaiah Nelson is 6'10", and he's been in the top 20 all season long in rebounding. He's averaging close to 10 per game, and Damian Collins comes in and gives them some. But really, when you look at guys like Wes Enos, who gets 4 a game, and Joe Pinion, who gets 4 or 5 a game, that's where they really start to dominate on the glass. They're second in the country in rebounding this season behind Florida. They've been second or third in offensive rebounding all season long. And second chance points, they're number 1 in the country. So again, just like the turnovers, if you get those second chances, those second chance opportunities, you got to do something with them. And they always do something with them.
Yeah. And normally what they do is they kick it out for a 3. And because that's what a second chance points, you get that ball inside. Everybody's already collapsed to rebound. Your shooters are open. So if you can get that ball and kick it right away to Pinion or Wes Enos or even Nelson, those guys can all hit threes.
Well, and JP, one of their rules is if you're in the restricted area on an offensive rebound, you're supposed to go right back up with it. If you end up outside the restricted area, then the sniper's set up on the wings. And Isaiah Jones is another guy that's been solid for them all year long, who, by the way, has NCAA tournament experience, and he hit a couple big ones in the final, and he's been knocking down threes again, which gives them just yet another weapon out there.
Yeah, really, really fun team. Jim Lighthall, Bulls play-by-play man, joining us here live from Buffalo, where USF will take on Louisville at 1:30 on Thursday. I will be out at Valspar, and they have a huge area out there in big screens just for watching March Madness. They're not running from it. They're embracing it. So we lost Jimmy. Oh, damn.
You still there? I think I lost. There you go.
You're back. So I'm going to be watching it out there with all my golfing friends. And at 1:30, tell me a little bit.
JP, I've lost you. I can't hear you anymore.
All right.
Oh dear.
Let's remove him and bring him back
Can't
in.
hear you.
All right.
Why don't you text him?
I'll text him. Well, you'll have to pick it up from here, Timmy. Tell a joke or something.
You know what? It's weird. I'm excited for this version of March Madness this year for some reason, and I don't know why. I think maybe it's because I'm following more schools a little more closely. And you've got teams like USF that haven't been here in a while. SMU hasn't been here in a decade, and they're going to be in it this year. I'm excited for it. See if we can get him back here.
Well, we got what 4 teams from the state of Florida, so that makes us better. All right,
how about that?
You got him now? Got me now?
Yeah, you just kind of disappeared. Your voice The volume was gone there. We're back now. Yeah.
We're back. So
I think the cold snapped a power line somewhere around the way.
very good. That definitely happened. Tell me a little bit about Louisville. I know they got some injury issues, but they love to shoot the three, and perimeter defense is going to be a premium here for USF.
Yeah, people look at Florida and their ability to shoot threes. You know, the Bulls have shot over 900 of them this season. Well, Louisville shot over 1,000 of them. So they love the three ball. They're not gonna shy away from them. Ryan Conwell, a former South Florida Bull, started his career at USF, played a year under Brian Gregory. He's been dynamite for them. He takes just as many as Wes Enos does. They each take around 10 per game. He's always hunting threes. He's great at relocating in the half court once he gives the ball up. He's big enough at 215 pounds and 6'4" that he can drive it into contact. He's not afraid of contact. The kid's built like a linebacker. Michael Brown is a superstar in the waiting, true freshman, 5-star McDonald All-American. But here's the deal. You know, he's had a back injury this season, and he's battled this all season long. He's only played a little over 20 games this year, and he has sat out the last few games, including the ACC tournament with a back injury. Could he have gone if they absolutely needed him in the ACC tournament? Probably. He said afterward, and he said this week, that he's making a lot of progress. Their head coach, Pat Kelsey, has said that he thinks that Michael will be ready for the NCAA tournament. That was the plan all along, to get him ready. But this guy has a 45-point game already this season, JP. He matched the Louisville scoring record that was set by Wes Unseld in 1967. So obviously the guy can really score, and he and Conwell have gone for 30 in a game at one point this year each. So they're really, really good. They've got a lot of big bodies too. They don't play them all at the same time, and they don't play them as many minutes. They like to be a little bit smaller because of that three-point ability and their ability to space the floor and run the floor. But they score in the 80s. The Bulls score in the 80s, and this is going to be a track meet on Thursday.
Take the over for sure. How are the Bulls health-wise? Everybody good?
Everybody is really good. C.J. Brown got nicked up a little bit in the conference tournament. He kind of strained his quad in the first 10 seconds of the semifinal and limped his way through that. But he seems to be 100% ready to go. No one else has any issues. They're as healthy as they've been all year.
You know, I've covered a lot of teams. I was doing radio for FSU in the 90s when they went on their run. So I've done these tournaments like you're doing, Jimmy. It is absolute magical place to be. On court side, calling a game in the NCAA tournament is absolutely magical. And, you know, especially when you get a big crowd and it's a big game. I think the last one I did was Kentucky, FSU, and that was our final 8 games. So the final 4 was on the break. And a guy, you know, they shut down, I'm trying to remember all the names, but they shut down the 2 big guys for Kentucky, a guy by the name of Kelvin Pritchard, who had scored 7 points. It was his high all year, came off the bench and hit like 7 threes. And that happens in games like this. So who's that guy for USF? Who's that guy for USF that could be that name that we remember forever for having a big game kind of coming out of nowhere?
Well, I'm going to go back.
It won't
to
be
the
out of
name
nowhere
Isaiah.
because we know all these guys, but for nationally.
Isaiah Jones, I think, is one of those names. He's really starting to get hot here, scoring in double digits a lot over the last 3 or 4 games. He's really solid. And when Brian Hodgson has talked about guys taking a lesser roles when they came here as a transfer, you know, he was a real nice player at Oakland, and he was a nice player at Detroit Mercy before that and scored a lot of points. He's not scoring a lot of points now. He scores 3 or 4 points a game, gets 2 or 3 rebounds a game. But you know what? Every time he's on the floor, JP, something good happens. Whether it's a steal, whether it's a deflection, whether it's a defensive wall up, a made 3, an offensive rebound, a tip, so that, listen, you don't have to get the rebound. Just make sure the other team doesn't get the rebound. So,
right.
You know, if you can get a hand on that, he just does things that are winning plays. I really like the kid. He's a great kid on top of all that. I don't know if he can go for 17. His high this year has been 14, which he did against Oklahoma State, and then just did it about 2 weeks ago again. But he might be a guy that hits a big shot for them when everyone's looking at Enos and Pinion.
Yeah. And the one thing I like about this team, Jimmy, is they're experienced and they're grown-ass men, and they'll be playing against some younger players. And we see this every year in the tournament, these teams that are experienced and have guys that have played 4, 5, sometimes 6 years of college basketball. They are the teams that really have success in this moment. So in that way, I think USF's kind of made for that, even though they don't have a lot of tournament experience. These are older players.
Yeah, for sure. And really a lot to be said for guys that are looking at potentially the last game they ever play in college basketball. Because Joshua Majafo was with Robert Morris last year. They went to the NCAA tournament. He has some experience between him and Isaiah Jones. But you're right, they have 6 guys that could potentially play their last game. And when you start looking at Isaiah Nelson, who played for 3 years at Arkansas State, and Joe Pinion has played, and Enos is a junior who's played a ton of basketball. Devin Hade comes off the bench. Devin Hade is 26 years old and started, he was working at Walmart before a junior college finally gave him an opportunity. So there's a lot of guys that had Damian Collins, a former McDonald's All-American 5-star kid. They've all played a ton of basketball. And honestly, JP, when you look at the P4 schools and start talking about the talent there, everybody gravitates to the freshmen because those are the guys that end up being the lottery picks. But in the American, it's the older teams. It's the teams that have the juniors and seniors that end up going the farthest and end up winning the conference championships and the tournament championships because they've been through the wars before.
Yeah, and they're tougher. And I'll get you out with this. This is what I really recognize about this team. From the first time I saw them against FAMU to the last time I saw them against Charlotte, is they've gotten better defensively, as you mentioned, that they're just stronger and more confident in what they do. They know exactly what they do and how they do it. Their offensive sets are really good. They set great picks. They're always in position defensively. They help out well. All the fundamentals, they've gotten so much better, and that is a nod to the coaching staff for sure. And they just seem like I've seen a lot of good teams in these tournaments. They seem like that team where they're just effing tough and they just refuse to lose.
Well, and we thought the game against Wichita State was just going to be bottom line. Whoever's the tougher team was going to win the game. Didn't have anything to do with shooting percentages, rebounding, nothing. Whoever's toughest. In this game, I think you're going to have to shoot the ball well to beat a Louisville team. They are wanting to play on the perimeter. They want some space to operate. So I don't think it's going to be quite like it was with Wichita State. But I'll say this, JP, you're right about the coaching staff. Again, I just sat through the film that they went through on personnel. They are as detail-oriented as any team I have worked with in my 29 years. Every single inch of Louisville has been covered. Offensively, defensively, their personnel, what they like to do, what they don't like to do, they will have them completely ready. And listen, the Bulls are the in vogue pick right now in the NCAA tournament to start pulling the upset, and rightfully so. I kept thinking whatever 5 or 6 seed gets this bunch, those coaches are going to be like, oh, crap, this is a really good team.
Yep. All right, Jimmy, go get on that bus. Enjoy the ride, literally and figuratively this week. It's going to be really, really fun. And we'll be watching and listening. Thanks, partner, for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Can't wait. Thanks, JP. Always a pleasure.
Coach. Tell him I'm sorry I couldn't be in Buffalo, but I got a golf tournament to run.
Will do. Thanks.
See you, man.
Bye.
Jim Lighthall right there, and he does a great job. He and Jimmy, Joey Johnston, who's been on the show, do a great job with the radio broadcast right there. I'm super excited. So that's tomorrow. We will be live from the Valspar tomorrow, Timmy, producing on the air. And then we're gonna head on over to the tent and watch them and watch a little golf, and then watch USF on the big screen at 1:30. And I got my credentials for the regional here in Tampa as well. So nice. I'll be covering the Florida Gators, the top-seeded Florida Gators, as they run through this weekend. I got news for you. There's buzz in this town for the Gators. It is going to be packed. Absolutely. Benchmark International Arena will be jam-packed of Florida Gator fans for Friday and Sunday. So they'll find out who they play tonight, right? Prairie View or somebody else, whoever.
Tonight we have it is Prairie View versus Lehigh.
Oh,
in Dayton. And then
engineers.
Miami of Ohio, that storybook, Miami of Ohio this year, they suffered their first loss of the season here last week versus SMU, my SMU Mustangs up in Dayton. Their first appearance in the big dance in 10 years.
How about that?
Yeah. So
the SMU doing well in the NIL era. Shocking development.
Yeah.
Spoiled rich kids.
Spoiled rich kids up on the hilltop, man. I tell you what, You know what? You got to feel, and here's something that surprised me, JP. A program with that amount of money. They're not even a program. A university with that amount of money. We know that they're doing well. Rhett Lashley's done wonderful things now since they've moved to the ACC. They're not an ACC power.
Since they bought their way into the ACC
they bought
as
their
well.
way into the ACC. I mean, what are you going to do? All right.
You talk about the most privileged school that we have. Come on.
You can't fault them for that. They're trying to.
For their white privilege? Absolutely, we can. Absolutely.
No, we all benefit from it. All right. Look.
As we do.
They do not have a baseball program.
They don't?
Believe
They
it or
get the
not.
death penalty?
No. And they used to, back in the late 70s, I guess they didn't have a ton of money or they were putting it all into the football program. This was right before the Pony Express and Eric Dickerson and Craig James, right before the death penalty. They were cutting costs.
Wow.
And the baseball program was too expensive to maintain. The real estate that their baseball field was on, they wanted to do other things with. So they nixed it. And to this day, they still don't. They're one of the richest universities in the world, and they still don't have a baseball program.
I did not know that.
You'll never see them in the ACC baseball tournament because they ain't got one.
Wow. Well, are they going to bring it back? I would think they would, since college baseball is like making money now.
I'm not hearing anything about it. It's nuts.
Wow.
I'm going to have to do an investigative report. FanStream Sports investigates. SMU baseball wins it back.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I didn't want to go too deep with it with Jimmy, but Hodgson publicly has turned down Syracuse. So we'll talk about that. So according to Jeff Goodman, that he was their top pick. Hodgson was, and he said, no, I'm not taking the Syracuse job. How about that?
That's
for
him.
That's a big deal. Yeah. Now, Providence is still out there, and I'm sure there'll be other suitors, especially if he makes a run. They make a run in this tournament to the Sweet 16, they'll come out of the woodworks, but who cares? We're living in the moment, and as it should be for this team. Really, really good stuff. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Coach Charlie Strong is going to join us, talk a little football here. NFL free agency, the Max Crosby situation. Max came out yesterday and detailed the whole deal that went down in Baltimore. Wow. Weird. Some shenanigans going on, no doubt. Hey, we're brought to you by the great folks at Pitch Roofing. Go to pitchroofing.com to get your free estimate appointment. They'll come right out to your house, tell you how many years you got left on your roof, or if you need a new one right now, or you need some repairs. And they'll educate you as to the whole process, because there's a lot that goes into it in terms of insurance and everything else, and also keep you from getting ripped off. There's so many unscrupulous roofers out there, folks. You have no idea. Constantly happening all the time. People knocking on your door. By the way, somebody knocks on your door, that's a red flag. Don't have a roofer that hasn't been invited to your house get up on your roof, all right? People do it all the time. Like, they're going up there. Why not? Yeah. Then they rip the shingles off and say, you need a roof repair. Give me a check. Pitch Roofing doesn't do that. Pitchroofing.com, that's the place to go to get your honest estimate. Back in 3. Here for Pitch Roofing, one of our new sponsors and the most reliable and honest roofers in the business. They love the Lightning, and Bolts fans, be entered to win a pair of premium Mark Club seats with every free roofing estimate from Pitch Roofing. Seats include food and beverages, early access, premium entry, and a backstage tour of Lightning Vision with yours truly. Always get 2 to 3 estimates when replacing your roof, and be sure to include Pitch as one of those roofing companies. With a free estimate from Pitch, they're not trying to hard sell you. They educate you on your roof and the process. Even if you do not choose Pitch Roofing as your roofer, they want to leave you feeling informed, knowing the different materials and manufacturers, and understanding the process and warranties. Very, very important. Pitch is an Owens Corning preferred contract, Better Business Bureau accredited, and MySafe Florida Home approved. That's very important as well. Pitch prides themselves on full transparency and customer first level of service. They also offer financing options, including 0% plans, ensuring a stress-free experience. Call my friends at Pitch Roofing, 727-67-PITCH. That's 727-677-4824, or go to pitchroofing.com.
Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
As the Rays enjoy being back in their Tropicana field home this season that was ravaged by Hurricane Milton, Italiano Insurance wants to remind us all how important it is to be properly insured. 40% of you are underinsured. That can mean financial disaster. Let the experienced and friendly agents at Italiano shop your policies for the best price and the right coverage. Italiano saved me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year, over $500 on our homeowners insurance. They can do the same for you. That's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Cost less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with our all-star agents at Italiano Insurance, or call our Boca Grande office at 941-964-0400. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour, as well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler, so don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. At the Golden Diamond Source, they can design anything you want personally. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase as well. And with gold prices at record high, now is the best time to do it. They only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source, so if it's a real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Bad idea. And with the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, you can learn all about the 4 C's in all the different shapes and styles. And they are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And don't forget, 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com.
It's a love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
Hey, lots going on at Genesis of Tampa, selling amazing vehicles and doing great things in the community. And March is Gray Bull Rescue Military Appreciation Month. A portion of all vehicle purchases go towards a donation to Gray Bull Rescue, who recently saved dozens of Americans from the cartel violence in Mexico. A great organization. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Wear green, buy green, save green. Wear green to Genesis of Tampa on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, for $500 off any vehicle in stock. Buy anything green that's green in color, cars, SUVs, you get $1,000 off. Also, buy a vehicle between March 14th and 17th, and you'll be entered to win a trip to Ireland on us. How about that? Of course, Genesis vehicles are the best in class for value, technology, luxury. And there's a National Genesis Signature event going on currently to get 1.9% financing. Limitations apply. Whether it's the G70, G80, 90 sedans, or the incredible SUV lineup, take a test drive and see what everyone is talking about. It's special. Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 is the place to go to give them a call, where a human being will actually answer the phone and help you go through all of your insurance needs and making sure that you have your business insurance if you started a side hustle. Make sure you have your flood insurance, because even if your mortgage does not demand it, you need to have it, folks. Everybody learned that the hard way here. Also, any of your insurance products that you have, make sure you shop them around because prices change all the time. Yeah, they usually go up, but sometimes they actually go down. Companies will come in the marketplace trying to get more market share and will drop their rates. So make sure that you're pricing them out all the time. If you did it last year, do it again. It's free. They do it for you. You save all the money. 813-877-7799. And again, great customer service. It's not like calling these 1-800 lines that drive you bananas. You'll actually get a human being that will chat to you. So, all right, before Coach comes in, Charlie Strong going to be joining us. Let's hit the comment line a little bit here and maybe talk a little bit about the Rays and the World Baseball Final last night. Timmy, did you watch the game?
Of course I watched the game. And you know what? Here's a hot sports take for you. Before this thing started, I showed a picture on this show up on this screen of the USA uniforms. I thought, man, look, those look sharp. Those look really good.
Crisp.
Now that this thing's over and I watched all of the games and they had the worst uniforms in the World Baseball Classic. Every other country's uniform looked way better than ours. And it's embarrassing.
Let me get this right. We lose a game like that last night. We had every advantage, and your take out of the gate is about uniforms.
Well, because I had this take long before last night's game. We just haven't talked about it.
All right. Fine. Here's my take.
Here's my take.
Our superstars suck.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's crunch time and in pressure situations, listen, and I understand Rodriguez, he looked good last night. He's a journeyman. Yeah. He's a journeyman. He made some good pitches, but come on now. That dude's had a 5 ERA forever. And half their freaking relievers weren't even available. And every bullpen guy they brought out just absolutely stymied, except for one swing. Bryce Harper got one swing. And it was dramatic. And that was awesome. We tie it up in the 8th, but then give it right back. Whitlock gives it right back in the 9th. Walking the first batter.
Yeah.
Putting the leadoff guy on.
After Joe Davis is on the broadcast saying, you got to get the first guy out. You have to get an out with the first batter. Boom.
Or at least make him earn it, for God's sakes. I mean, come on. And then, of course, he comes around to score. They pinch run some guy whose little legs barely got him to second base. That was kind of funny. And he isn't even a base stealer, and we can't throw him out. He's not even a base stealer. He's looking back at the catcher while there's little – Barney Rubble,
like cartoon legs.
Oh my God! And we can't throw him out.
It was. I mean,
why? Like in that situation, what are you doing? We can't throw him out, and then he absolutely meatballs one to Suarez, who hits it into the gap. I mean, what? Talk about a freaking meatball! And then we come up, and there's nothing behind. I mean, the offense on this team all tournament long was god awful. And of course, after the game, it's, guys are not, Big Papi's like, it's early in the season. Guys don't have their timing yet. Maybe next time we need to start working on things quicker. I'm like, what? You didn't know that you were going to play in the World Baseball Classic and you didn't get started earlier to get your timing going? I mean, it just feels like, Tariq Skubal is in the dugout but not pitching. I mean, what are we doing?
And that's a whole nother story, JP, is why are you going to let these guys go to the World Baseball Classic if your teams aren't going to let them pitch?
Right.
What's the point? Why are we doing this?
I don't get it. I mean, Scubal's going to go pitch a spring training game, but can't pitch in
a World Championship game.
Like he's much, I guess, in a higher pressure game. Yeah, you're more apt to get hurt, I guess, or overthrow. But I don't know. I mean, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not do it half-assed. And it feels like we just did it half-assed.
I never say this about a team when they lose or win. I never, ever say that team wanted it more.
Yeah.
But it felt like Venezuela wanted this way more than the USA wanted this. Just by their emotions on the field. And I know Team USA didn't have a lot to get emotional about until that home run in the 8th. And then the emotions came out. But then they were dead again, and an inning later when they're down again. And it just did not look like they were really into this thing, which is kind of an embarrassment after Team USA hockey, gold medal winning Team USA hockey, sends them game-worn jerseys to wear off the bus.
Yep.
To get some of that juju. and it just didn't work out. But look, overall, as a series, I did not enjoy this as much as I enjoyed the Four Nations tournament in hockey.
Yeah.
But dude, this was great, man. I loved this. But what happens if Team USA is not in the final? Are we even talking about this game today?
Probably not.
Because that's
I don't know.
Possibility in the future.
Well, if Dominican Republic were in it and Junior were playing, yeah, we'd be talking about it. And just the DR, we'd be talking about it. So yeah, I think so. I think it still resonates because so many of these players are Major League Baseball players that we all know. So yeah, I loved it. I think, you can bitch about certain little things about uniforms and scheduling and stuff, but I think in general, this was pretty damn good. This was pretty 100%. Damn good. I'd do it again. I'd watch it again. I just think the USA still we're not putting our best foot forward. Now, listen, we had our biggest names in the lineup and they failed. They were overmatched by Venezuela's pitching. Or frankly, I saw some very hittable pitches that didn't get hit. So listen, it's baseball. It's a one-off game, and they were just offensively. Well, I thought most of the tournament they were flat offensively. So
big time. And look here, Alex Nunn comes in here on the comments. He says, "Manager is a moron." Timmy, that's on the manager. Dude is a clueless and a moron. Look, I don't know Mark DeRosa personally. I've had interactions with him professionally. He is not a moron. I don't like the name call like that. He's a really good dude. He was in way over his head. He is not a manager.
He's not a manager. Why would you pick a guy that hasn't managed in the big leagues?
Poor decision on whoever the governing body is that picked him.
That's not serious. That's not serious. You're not serious about winning if you're playing personality games. Oh, everybody loves him on MLB Network. He knows a lot of the guys. Let's make him the manager. What? When Joe Madden is sitting there with a World Series championship and all the other, 50 years of experience managing, you're going to go with this nut job who doesn't even know the rules of the tournament? Yeah. Now listen, what managing decisions did he make that cost them? Besides that, complete blunder, individual games, I thought, I don't think anything jumped out at me as it did with Pujols not pinch running the other day. I don't think DeRosa made any mistakes like that. I may have missed some stuff, but I thought but not knowing how the tournament works, well, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. But they overcame that.
In all fairness, Alex said before that, he said the real problem is Judge Schwarber breaking over $300 million contracts. Yeah. It's talking about the player performance. Yes, Mark DeRosa can't go up to bat, and he can't, not swing at bad pitches like the offense was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's not on him. But I still think Mark DeRosa in way over his head. This team just never looked serious to me.
Yeah, and they just didn't have the emotion of the other teams. But, emotion doesn't win baseball games.
No.
You got to get in the box and square it up. So that's kind of how that works.
Yep.
All right. Coach is in the house. Coach Charlie Strong is here. We'll get him all up here. Get your mic on, Coach. We got your camera up. How are you, partner?
I'm doing good. What about yourself, Jim?
Put that right over there. It moves
right here.
just like you do, partner. How are you?
I'm doing well. And
good
yourself?
To see you.
Good.
It's cold out there today, but not nearly as cold as South Bend was this weekend, huh?
Oh, my goodness. I had not forgotten about just how that weather was. And, we go to the funeral of Coach Oates. And then after the funeral, we have to walk to the cemetery. And I guarantee you, it was every bit of right between a quarter to a half a mile. It was somewhere in that range.
Well, and how cold was it?
And let me tell you, it was snowing sideways. Like it just pouring rain. The snow was coming at you like that. And
you could hear Coach Holtz laughing at all of you.
Oh, I guarantee you could hear him laughing at us.
Tough enough, Charlie. It's not that cold. Come on.
That's exactly what he was probably saying. But let me tell you, it was cold. I said, wow. I said, but I kept saying in a few days I'll be back in Tampa. It'll be warm. I can breathe this for these few hours here.
Yeah, now we know why Coach Hodgson said no to the Syracuse job and staying in South Florida. It's like, hey, he's getting reminded right now about that Buffalo cold. It's about 19 degrees up there it's up there with USF. So yeah, he's like, you know what? I think I'll stay in Tampa, South Florida. Not a bad idea.
Yes.
So how's the funeral was and the celebration of life for Coach Holtz was amazing, was it not?
It was just unbelievable. And just the impact, we talk about just impacting someone's life. You talk about, but just the whole inspiration, Jay. You look at it was just so many former players that came, and you think from William and Mary to NC State to Minnesota to Arkansas to Notre Dame to South Carolina. There was players from every school that came back, and with it being held at Notre Dame, you would felt like the rest of those guys didn't feel a part of it, but it was just the whole service made them feel a part of it. Like he was our coach also. Mm-hmm. I know he was here at Notre Dame for a number of years, but he was also our coach.
That's amazing. Any other highlights of people who spoke at the celebration of life?
No, it was more of a mass, and then Skip got up and spoke, and it was it was amazing because you just saw, like I said, just people.
It was a who's who.
It was a who's who,
yeah.
and not only athletes, coaches, but just the people that he worked with, and I know that Urban didn't get a chance to make it because he was coming with Governor DeSantis, and they had plane issues. So Governor DeSantis was on his way there. You think about that.
Yeah,
He's
wow.
coming to the celebration, and him and Urban was going to hook up, and something happened with the plane, and they weren't able to get there. But it was just
a lot of that going on this weekend around the nation.
Oh, it was because we were coming back, and you should have seen the Atlanta airport.
Oh, I heard stories. Yeah. Well, I was trying to get my daughter back to Nashville for 2 days, trying to get a flight out, and everything was canceled. Yeah.
Everything was canceled. And if you did that, it was almost like you get to the counter, like, just pray to God I could just get on this plane and get out of it.
Get home.
It's so loaded in that airport right now.
So a great celebration of life for Coach Holtz in the place that, that really kind of defined him, Notre Dame. He loved that place.
Oh, loved every bit of it. And his wife is already buried there.
Okay.
So now for him to go back and, because he bought 2 plots, and his whole thinking was behind, I know my children will always come back to Notre Dame.
Smart.
Think about smart, because of all the places he's lived. He could have put it in Orlando, but he said, I know that they will always come back to Notre Dame to visit, or, to go to a game. And people here that respect me and know me. And that was the thing, just the number of people there. It was like, man, look at all these people. Look, just the whole inspiration. And
how many did they have a count on it?
Oh, they didn't, but the whole basilica, which is a large, it was packed up, and then they let, so the community, they came in, so they sat on one side, but the whole thing, and even the night before, like just the viewing of the body, the line was just how long it was to get in to see the body, because they opened that up to the public.
Yeah.
So, and it was from 7 to 10. And I think Skip said that they ended up leaving there like at 10:30.
Wow.
Because he said hello to
and
everyone.
It was freezing.
And freezing.
Absolute freezing. People still coming out.
Standing out there. It was raining. Yeah. Standing out there in the rain just to come up to view the body.
Wow. That's an impact on a lot of different lives, huh?
So many different lives. And just you think about just how you guys were telling stories and just
I bet.
And it's so many stories, and there's still a lot of them out there to be told. But it was, to hear everyone kind of share just the same ideas, how he impacted their life, what he did. And you look at some of those guys, they're CEOs of companies, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're every walks of life, and how he was able to impact their life.
Yeah. What a man. I was reading some other things about him. So many great eulogies over the past week or so for Coach Holtz, and all of them bringing up different, sayings that he had. And Joe, do you have some of your favorites?
Oh, yes. I remember we go recruiting one time, and I forget, we were somewhere in Texas, and this player, he was, probably the number 2 or 3 player in the country. So coach says, okay, you always had to give him a note card before you walked in the house. So he'll look at the note card, just make sure he had the proper name
and everything. So you would prepare the note card. That's interesting.
So you would give it to him, and just to make sure, hey, these are his parents. Here he has, 3 or 4 siblings, whatever it may be. And so we go in the house, and I said, now, Coach, this is a tough one now because she doesn't want him to go that far. She think Notre Dame is a long ways from Texas, so she wants him to stay close. He said, okay, Charlie, we got it. So we go in, and he starts talking to her, and he gets so comfortable. He sits down on the floor. Like he's literally sits down in the middle of the floor. And the lady was like, Coach, I didn't cook a meal for you, but I have some dessert if you would like some. And he's like, I like what you have. So she brought us a slice of apple pie. And he ate the apple pie. And he said, hey, wait a minute. Before we get going, can I get another slice of that? That's the best apple pie I've ever had. The lady brings us another slice of apple pie. And I'm looking at him like, you don't even eat apple pie. And we ended up getting apple pie.
Charlie, that was the worst apple pie I've ever had in my life, but we got that kid. That's fantastic.
It was just so funny. We were at a football clinic, and we had probably 3,000 coaches because everybody at that time wanted to come to Notre Dame.
Right.
And Lou Holtz, they want to meet Lou Holtz. And so we're out there on the field, and all the coaches out there. And these coaches are everywhere. And you can't even move because there's coaches standing next to you and behind you. And then all of a sudden you hear this whistle. And coach is like, hey, all of my assistant coaches, get off the field, go sit in the stands. You guys not even coaching. I coach everybody. He's not coaching every position.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
And he's out there coaching everybody.
Every position.
Every position he's coaching everybody. Hey, I might as well do it because y'all doing a poor job of it, so they're not listening to you, so maybe they'll listen to me.
He didn't mind I want to say it was challenging you, right? He'll tell you if you screwed up, he'd tell you.
Oh, and he didn't mind telling you.
And hurt your feelings.
Oh, and he would tell you. But then the other side of it, you would go with him to visit someone who's sick, and it was just how he just poured into that person and made that person feel like, hey, it's gonna get better for you.
Yeah.
And it was just to see two sides of him where he can take you and just go, just rip you, and then all of a sudden come back to the other part of it
and love you up
and love you up. And it was, and it was almost like he was so loving. So he loved you so much where you believed in yourself because you was getting that love from him.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Coach, we'll move on to some other NFL stuff here. And just, the whole Mike Evans thing played out last week. And a lot of Bucs fans are a little butthurt, that he talked so glowingly about San Francisco. And really, it's starting to look like something got squirrely with the organization. And, I know Mike loves the Bucs and had expressed so much love when he signed his last contract about the Glazers and everything. And then on his goodbye on the way out, didn't even mention the organization. I guess this happens from time to time, though. I mean, when it comes down to money or just hurt feelings, maybe, he thought he was going to be a Buck for life. And maybe the organization said, man, not really. Not really. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm like you, Jay. I don't know, but a lot of times when you decide to leave somewhere, it's just like you just move on, and you don't have much to say about what went on, or it's always now it's just your next organization or your next. I can remember leaving Louisville, going to Texas, and I didn't ever say nothing else about Louisville, and I had so many great years there and so many people there that I have great relationships with. But it's almost like once you decide to go, you just can't look. And the coach always said it: just don't look back. You
got to go.
You have to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people. I know the fans are hurt because he was such not only a great competitor but really good with this community.
Yeah.
And so to lose someone like that who you just felt like that he will always be here. Like this guy isn't going anywhere.
And then and you know what? I've been around long enough to see it, even the great ones go, Derek Brooks and John Lynch, and it's I don't even know if I can remember one where I said, oh, that was a nice exit. Maybe
Right.
Rondé. Rondé stayed here his entire career, went out on his terms. And those are one of the few things that end well. Mostly it just doesn't, because what happens is we all romanticize about these games of football, and we get emotionally involved in it. And the bottom line is it's a business. And when it gets down to the business part, we all go, "Oh, wow, that's really ugly." I'm like, "Yeah, it's business."
But you made a great point. A lot of them, it's like they don't want to go because they don't think it's time for them
right.
to go.
Exactly.
So now when they have to go, it's like, okay, it didn't end well because I still feel like I could still go play a couple of years, or I still should be here because I helped build this organization. So it does, and people do. They get their feelings hurt. Players get their feelings hurt. Organization get their feelings hurt, and then everybody. And you just don't. It's not a medium there. But then like down the road, you kind of make up for it. But,
of course. But it'll be fine when he comes back.
After the dust is settled, then
time will heal.
Time will, and time heals everything.
But one thing you can't comment on, because you were there last year coaching on the defensive side. Obviously, Mike was on the offensive side. But, the thing about Mike is I think he's one of those rare players in this day and age that really freaking cares about winning. As we mentioned, it's a business. And I think there are some superstars, and I would put Max Crosby in that realm. I would put Baker Mayfield in that realm. They're guys that really, really give a shit about winning and care about accountability for everybody. I don't know what the percentage is, but I just think those are rare guys. And if you're going to lose one, you better bring somebody in that can do that as well. And or whether it be a Max Crosby or, I think Anzalone will be a great leader for them. Maybe a little bit long in the tooth, but I think he'll be a great leader for them. How much do the Bucs lose from that realm of Mike holding people accountable and being that guy that everybody looks to that wants to win, like at all costs?
But what's tough, Jay, is when you have a guy who's been a part of your organization for that number of years and you lose him because he knows all about the organization. Like he brings the leadership qualities, he brings the work ethic qualities. Everything that you embody and everything you talk about is what he brings to the organization. So you hate to lose someone like that because he's such a positive influence. Young guys can look at him, see how he works, and hey, this is the way it is. This is the standard here. This is how you want to get because he works so hard because he wants that gold jacket. And he's going to get that gold jacket. Mm-hmm. And so to watch him work, and it's important to him. Winning is important because when you put in the work, you want to win. You're not going out there like, hey, I'm putting in all this work and we're going to go out here and go get beat. That's not what I'm about. And it is. And you're right. Baker's like that. Baker is going to battle. And a guy who does it in such a quiet way is Vita. Like Vita's like that. Like Vita, he doesn't say much. But the way he works, and it's important to be like it is like really important to him. And that's the thing. Like when you get those guys like that, and they've been in the organization, Devontae, they've been in the organization, they can help the younger guys. So when you bring in a guy, because they know that at some point their time is up, and they're gonna have to move on. And so now, if I can you bring me a young guy, and I can get him going. Now he understands how important it is.
I guess when I say that about Mike, obviously you needed guys to step up into that role. I kind of feel like Ibuka can be that next guy. He was, captain of that Ohio State national championship team. He seems to have all the qualities, the great qualities that Mike has. He's not as big, obviously, but he's a hell of a player. I mean, a hell of a player, and he can fill those leadership roles, if not the 6'5" receiver role.
And that's the thing. The player's going to respect him because he is a player. And he doesn't say much either. And it's all about the way he goes to work. And he goes to work, and guys respect him because I think that when we first took him, we didn't know how good he was going to be. And then for him to come on the way he has, he can really play. And he does. He has the leadership skills. He has the work ethic. And it was good that you had Mike there because he was watching Mike. And so he knows, to watch it, Chris Godwin. I'm watching these guys. I'm watching how they go about their business and how they handle their work job. So it's and a guy. It's amazing. Like you see those guys who are like the Mike and then the Chris, and then you bring these young guys down. All of a sudden, even when those guys step away, you have somebody else who's been training where they're going to become
exactly
a really good buck for you.
We look at this front seven now, which you were obviously a part of last year, and Logan Hall is gone. They bring in a Sean Robinson from Carolina, who is an ass kicker, self-admitted, but he's older. You know, and obviously I think they're going to draft somebody. You also saw David Walker for a little bit last year before he got the ACL. He'll be coming back. So we're not sure what Levante is going to do yet. As you know, I think he's going to retire. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. He hadn't done it yet, so maybe not. He kind of said goodbye to the media and everybody. I really felt like he was out the door, but maybe not. So when you look at that front seven right now, with Anzalone coming in, what are your thoughts?
Well, you get a veteran linebacker in Anzalone, and I know him because the Florida days, but he the same thing with him. He's going to bring the leadership ability with him, the skill, and he's going to he's going to come in and he understands how to work. Being in Detroit and the way they turn it around. But then you get Robertson, who's a big. It's what you need: big body guys. Big guys beat up little guys.
That's what they do. He said that in his press conference, especially when he was at school.
Yes, big guys beat up little guys. So you like a big guy coming in like that, and more than anything, he still got something left in him where, just see how much we can get out of it.
Yeah.
But it's good. And like you said, David Walker had, he got injured. So now.
What are your thoughts on him? What you saw you never saw him in pads, but.
Really good pass rusher, good quickness. And he could, we were after now. He could work and he has enough quickness and he had a lot of sacks in college. So I think that he has the quickness and it just needs to put on a little more weight. And then I think once that happens for him, then he's got a chance to be something.
Maybe he did that in the offseason while he's rehabbing his knee, putting on a little bit of weight. Yeah.
Right.
They get Aquan Mohammed from Detroit, who's kind of been a rotational player his entire career, but jumped up and had 11 sacks last year. So,
and you got to get a guy who get to the quarterback. So you need a guy like that because he at least if you got a good push in the middle with Vita, you got Big Robinson in there, you have Kalijah, then you let those outside rushers with Yahya and Muhammad, you got those two guys on the outside who could now go rush because you got big guys inside who stays in front of the quarterback.
Yeah, push it.
Those guys push in the pocket and let those guys go rush the quarterback.
If you were the Bucs, would you use that number 15 pick on an edge rusher in this draft?
Yeah, I would still use it because I just think you need another guy on defense.
Yeah.
And you need a guy up front. And it could be, but it just depends on who's going to be sitting there now as that guy. Because if it isn't the edge rusher, then you just got to go get whoever is
maybe a defensive tackle.
Yeah, whoever's the next best player.
Yeah.
And maybe you're right, maybe a defensive tackle. Because now you're looking at you got B, then you got
B's
Robertson,
what? They'll be 32, 31 or 32. Yeah.
And then you have Kalijah, who if we just get him through, because he's been injured last two, but you get him through, and then after that, now
Gaines is gone. You need depth.
Roberts is not an inside guy. He's a big guy, but he's a guy that you can play in a lot of different positions.
Right.
But you just want a big, strong, guy who can just hold a point for you.
So you would look, just depending on who the edge rusher is, would you look for more size on the outside? Maybe not a 240 guy, but maybe a 270 guy?
No, because outside you need something between a range of 240 to 255 because that guy can give you the speed on the edge. And he's strong enough to hold a point on the run. Yeah. So that now, he can put his cleats in the ground. If, they try to run the ball at him, he can put, separate and get off block and go make a play. But when it's time to go rush the passer, he's giving you enough where he can control the edge. Have long enough reach to get in the tackle's body and knock the push the pocket or get pressure on the quarterback.
You know who's good at that? Max Crosby. He's back. He's available. He's back. I don't know if you saw his interview, but he said that he went up to Baltimore, right? And when he got there, no head coach greeting him, no general manager, no Acosta, no nobody. Just and then he's
Should
like,
have known something then.
red flag.
Hey,
And then
you
he
shoulda
went,
known
so
something.
he was there for like 5 hours, hadn't met the head coach yet, hadn't even seen the GM.
Yeah.
And then they took him into the last meeting and said, yeah, something's wrong with your x-rays or your MRIs, and we're going to renege on a trade. That sounds weird. Have you ever heard of a big-time free agent coming in and not being greeted like that?
I tell you this right now, that would never happen here.
Never.
It would never happen here because they're going to have somebody waiting on him at the airport. When he is transported to the facility, you're going to have the coaches, the GM, everybody involved. When he walk in the building, like here soon they're going to do like the top 30 or whatever it is. But when those guys come in, they are like bombarded with just, from the personnel department to the coaches, everybody is all over this young man. He's going down to the training room. He's in the equipment room. He's in the weight room. He's upstairs around the coaches with the GM, with all the scouting personnel. That would never happen here. And you talk about Max Crosby?
Yeah.
Oh, these guys.
Come on now.
We would have laid out the red carpet for him.
We'd have had a parade from the airport. Yeah.
We would have told the fans to line up, honky horns, and he comes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like they had buyer's remorse from the very beginning, and they would just.
Yeah, and you can just tell, and you can just feel it. And he probably felt it when he walked in the building. He's probably like,
"Oh yeah, he did.
Where's everybody at? Like,
yeah,
nobody's even here to greet me. So something's up here."
So, like in the fraternity of coaches and in the NFL, like how do people view Baltimore now? That's kind of dirty pool.
Well, it is, but you know how it is with those guys. They're probably sitting there saying, "Okay, there's a reason why they did what they did." Because it is a good organization.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah. So
why did they do it? So and then, and you think about it too, they're just giving up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And for
the feeling I got was, when Trey Hendrickson didn't come right off the board right away, I kind of feel like, maybe they went back to his agent and said, "Okay, you're gonna take less. You're gonna take this deal," because they probably thought they were going to get a lot more money. Yes. Hendrickson's camp. And so when they didn't, they were like, "Okay, we'll take this deal." And then there was and the Baltimore said, "Well, then we don't have to give up our 2 first-round picks, and we still get our edge guy."
And you get a guy who's been in our conference.
So they kind of work the system a little bit because when they do the deal, Crosby comes off the table.
And then all of a sudden Hendrickson is signed. He's like right away in. So you're right. It's no telling what went on, and he probably wanted more than what he could get. And they look at it too. When you get a guy who's already this in the conference with you, so now he knows because you done played against him enough. And so he knows, he can help us with Cincinnati, and then he's played against us. So he can come in there and tell us what they were seeing from our.
That helps too.
It helps.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's so much go into it because when you do get a guy, you do quiz him on, hey, what do you think about us?
Mm-hmm.
Where's our and they'll tell you, like they'll be up front because they're knowing that they're not going back to where they came from.
Wow, that's a weird deal. I wonder how that's going to reverberate through all the things. Hey, Coach, before you go, did you get any? I know a lot of the folks went up to the White House last week. Urban was there. There was all the who's who for college football and college athletics. I haven't really heard what came out of that deal. Have you heard anything? Have you talked to any of your contacts about it?
No, the thing I think they really concentrated on was the transfer portal. Because because guys are just, it's the wild, wild west. They can go from one school to the next school.
Yeah.
Keep jumping. I don't think with the NIL that they can slow it down. Now, they were talking about trying to put a cap on freshmen, but still, though, you can't do it because those guys they'll
sue and they'll win.
They'll find a way to sue you, and they'll find a way to win it. But it's amazing, JP, the amount of money out there that we're giving some of the players.
I know.
And it is. My biggest fear is 5 years from now when they're not playing and they didn't do a good job of handling their money.
Yeah.
And because some of them are not going to get to the NFL. Now you don't move your whole family here. So, you done picked them up from where they were. You done brought them to where you are. And now who's going to take care of that?
And once you get used to spending that much money, it's hard to go back.
It's hard to go back, and especially when you don't have it anymore.
I know
you don't have it anymore, so it's hard to go back. And that's my biggest fear.
So we got to put so many guardrails on this. And in order to do that, I think there's going to have to be the antitrust legislation or given that exemption to colleges. So what that basically does is makes them immune from these prosecutions from the players and bringing lawsuits.
Yes.
So then they can collectively bargain and make it an NFL model, basically.
But you think about it. See, what's good with the NFL, you don't have that many guys.
Right.
Because you think about college, you're talking about 100 players.
Yeah.
You got a large
and 150 teams.
And 150 teams. So you think about all the teams and players, where you think about 32 teams with what maybe 50 guys that you're dealing with.
Yeah, with the practice squad, I think it's 72 players
72
total.
Players,
yeah,
and some of those, and with those guys, you're not giving them much at all anyway.
No.
So your main guys are the ones who getting the money. But in college, it's a lot of guys getting a lot of the quarterbacks are really getting paid, and so how can you? I don't know how you stop it, because like you said, you got to put some rules in place. And I think that meeting last week was, like how do we, what do we?
How do we put those guardrails up?
And like I said, the transfer is one way you can stop it. If you can find a way to keep guys,
limit the guys.
Where the old days used to be.
Yeah.
But then they found a way where.
Well, I don't think it. I think it was tough for. I don't think it was fair for some players. Because as you know, there's the recruiting process, and then once you get on the campus, it's a totally different deal. Yeah. Ask for everything you want while you're recruiting, because once you get there, you ain't getting anything once they get you. So guys would get caught in situations where there was, really good players in front of them, or you get on the wrong side of a coach. That was, and you're
in the doghouse,
and he doesn't want you to go somewhere. He don't want you to go across the street and kick his ass. So he puts you he puts you on the bench. You ain't playing for him. You ain't getting any tape out there. And that happened a lot. It happened a lot.
And that's, you're right. That's the biggest thing. Like you said. And the guys who are really being hurt in all this are the high school players.
Yeah.
Because now I can't go to a high school gym and recruit a young man and say, you know what? In 3 years, I just need him for 2 or 3 years to build him up, and he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah.
Because now you're sitting there saying, I can't wait that long.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No. So now I'm going to go over here and get an older guy who's been in somebody's system, who I know I can bring in right away, and he can help me.
Yeah. Hopefully they can get all that. But I think limiting transfers would put a lot on. I think you should get one free transfer.
You're right.
And the next one, you either got to sit out a year or half the season. Make it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, make it, there's a cost. And then if you need a third, you have to go in front of a panel hardship case and make your case.
Because you look at some of you guys like, where are you getting your degree from?
Yeah.
It's this year.
Well, I don't know if academics is going to be part of this moving forward anyway, coaches. Because as you know, there's a lot of these kids that just don't want to be in college, shouldn't be in college, frankly, taking up spots for people that shouldn't. And we all know what, it's been happening for years and years. Some kids go to school, some kids don't. Some kids can't.
But I was sitting there, and I was just up in South Bend, and I saw some of their players, and I said, and it's like, this place has the perfect model. They only took like 8 transfers all they took, and still there you have to go to class. There's no online class. There's no online, so you're actually walking in a classroom. Like in some of these places, these guys never go in a classroom. They don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
It's all online. So
there's no online classes at Notre Dame.
Class.
Wow.
They have to go in class. The players have to go to class. They're going to see the person face to face. And so you're sitting like, okay, if this place can do it,
why can't other?
why can't? Yeah.
Well,
it's different. And you get it's different. And you get a different type of player to come in there. A different young man is recruited there. And, but they're from all across the country,
And they've always said that Notre Dame, you can't win a national championship at Notre Dame because all the kids have to go to class, and they only take a certain level.
They said, and I, looking at that team, it would not shock me if they don't go win it all this year. With what
really,
have. Because they have enough to go do it.
Love their coach.
Oh yeah,
Marcus Freeman is awesome.
But you look at it and say, okay, some places can, but. You got to find a way to do it.
If we could all be like Notre Dame, it would be great. Coach, thanks again for jumping in. Always love talking ball with you. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Already, sure will. Thanks, Jay.
Coach Carly Strong. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Johnny Gerber is going to join us. PGA professional, red hot gambler. Give you some winners like he did last week. And we'll talk some golf. And I'm going to get to all your comments here in this next section, too. So quick break, back in 3. Stay with us. Well, the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC want to say thanks for making them so dadgum busy. Of course, advertising on your favorite Tampa Bay sports talk show helps, but it's their incredible customer service, honesty, and integrity that have earned them tons of 5-star reviews. And now you could be part of the team at Third Generation. Yes, they are so slammed, they need to hire more certified AC technicians and plumbers. It's a great family business to work for. My buddy John Rodriguez runs an old school family business since 1995. They pay well, give you all the holidays off, and they offer great benefits. No cold corporate atmosphere here. You're part of the family. If this sounds cool to you, call them and apply at 813-961-8024, or you can email your resume in at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just go to the website, you'll see the button, email them, or call them at 813-961-8024. And don't forget about the $169 yearly maintenance special. It's a no-brainer, guys. thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
They gave us the touchdowns, the tackles, the unforgettable moments. Now the NFL legends are teeing it up for a cause that matters, caring for kids. Join the Tampa Bay NFL Alumni Association annual golf tournament on Monday, March 16th at Carrollwood Country Club. Spend the day golfing alongside former NFL stars who played the game at the highest level. The day includes complimentary breakfast, luncheon, and award ceremony. The winning team will get an expense-paid trip to Tucson, Arizona to compete in the Super Bowl of golf tournaments. Register today at givebutter.com/QLHP3I. That's givebutter.com/QLHP3I. Or call James Ridley at 813-773-5723. 813-773-5723. Sponsor limited. Register today. Monday, March 16th at Carrollwood Country Club. Play golf, meet legends, impact local kids. Sponsorship still available.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Hey, if you're getting ready to pop the question, first and foremost, don't get a fake ring. Don't do that. Got to be a real diamond. Put it on that finger, and make sure that you go to the Gold and Diamond Source. 0% financing over 5 years. That means you can get a $5,000 diamond for just $80 a month, and you're buying it from a local company that supports local charities, that employs your neighbors, not somebody online that don't give a rip about your community. A place that's been in business for over 40 years, and you can trust them. Try and buy a diamond online with people you don't even know. Sketch. You don't want to do that. And guys, if you're looking for a pendant, a ring, or something to spice up your look a little bit, they got a nice men's section there now. They've extended it out so they can get these baller watches in there, pre-owned Rolex. They got a ton of them there. So go check out everything at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com. All right. Can we get to a couple comments here, partner, before we get to Johnny?
I mean, if you want to tell our CEO that he's going to have to wait on the Yuck Monkeys, I'm fine with that. If you are, I got
he's
no
3
problem.
minutes early. So
Yeah, we got 3 minutes to talk to the Yuck Monkeys.
I call them the Petermans. What did you call them?
Yuck Monkeys.
Yuck Monkeys. Okay.
They're all a bunch of Yuck Monkeys.
Nathan Elliott says Glazer formula, build it up, make a drastic move, win Super Bowl, tread water, go cheap, fire the coaches, repeat. This was a formula from 2002 Super Bowl. Looks like the same after 2022. Is that something that we want?
No.
I look at the Rams. I thought the Rams and the Bucks were kind of similar, just in terms of their rosters. And the Rams just went out and addressed their two biggest needs, which were corner. And they gave up their first-round pick to do it. That's a team that is, to me, consistently going for it. And I think with this, as malleable as the salary cap is, you can do that. You can stay competitive. And I just don't – I think the Glazers, if they're not rebuilding, they're doing a terrible job of trying to stay competitive. I mean, an awful job. And I don't think they're that dumb, frankly. I think this is just a quiet rebuild that they don't want to say out loud. I mean, if you can't see it, then you can't see it. 813 guy, JS813 says, new column on TBT about the new Rays Stadium, a level of scrutiny not seen while Stu was owner, another hatchet job. Yeah, I saw it. This curmudgeon John Hill that they trot out every week or so to write a column about how bad this deal is. And it's just an absolute hypocrisy compared to the St. Pete deal. And supporting an owner who said St. Pete is not a major league city, who, according to the lawsuit, defrauded his partners of his fiduciary responsibilities, had to settle that lawsuit. We could go on and on about Stu, blaming the fans, not marketing the team, selling off all the players when they got, we could go on and on. And they supported this guy like he was a saint, canonized him on the way out the door, just absolutely tone deaf to what the community thinks about him otherwise and what he actually did. This group comes in, trying to do it the right way, and all they can do is take shots. And all they could do is bring up things and write stories that are so horribly negative that could be written in a completely different way and a more accurate way, in my opinion. It's just, that's my opinion. And I don't get it. Look, I told you this political process was going to get really ugly and sticky and messy, and that's where we're at. There's going to be, a lot of mud flinging everywhere. But when the numbers come in and they're finally in, which we should see probably within the next week, what it looks like, then we'll take a deeper dive at it and look at it. If it's a bad deal for Tampa, I'll say it. But everything, Clendenin yesterday with the money quote at the end of the story was, hey, basically everything looks great. I think it's going to get done. And that's a guy that's on the TSA board and on the city council who's seen everything. So anyway, I would not.
Not to be confused.
It doesn't matter what the Times thinks, except that it does shape public opinion, which does influence elected officials. Yeah,
it matters. I had that topic this morning. By the way, Nathan Elliott made an appearance on my Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz live broadcast this morning. So thank you, Nathan, for getting up early with me and talking some Cowboys. Mm-hmm. The part of my podcast this morning about the Cowboys was about misinformation and how you have all of these yahoos out there who are with their mock drafts who don't listen to what the Cowboys say they want, and you throw a name up there for the Cowboys at number 12 that means nothing for the team, that has nothing to do with their draft needs and who they want to target, and now that just becomes the topic of conversation for everybody. Yeah. Well, why are the Cowboys going to go get this guy? That they don't even need that. They're not. It's an idiot media guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, who's just filling in spots on his mock draft. Yeah. It means nothing, and it's the same thing that you guys are dealing with out there for the stadium issue, when you've got people that are misreporting information or reporting bad information, and that becomes fact to the people who don't know how to go out and get their own information.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with this.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you're doing so-called journalism and you're completely agenda driven and not, you can take a lot of different facts and spin them any way you want. That's not journalism. That's agenda-driven reporting, and that's what we've seen in this case, in my opinion. That's my opinion. They can have theirs, and that's why we all.
By the way, I saw
have our outlets.
I saw a very.
I'm not mad at anybody. No, don't hate anybody. I'm just
for once.
I just don't like the way they're covering the story. That's all.
I saw a very interesting clip on the X machine this morning when I was doing show research. Yes, I do show research, y'all. I don't want to hear it from you. Just because JP doesn't let me talk about the stuff I research, that's not my fault.
When have I ever said no?
I can't get JP to shut up long enough for me to get a point in.
Well, there's a problem.
It feels like the Tim May show around here sometimes. Just kidding, Tim. We love you. But now I totally forgot. Oh, yeah. So I'm watching a clip from DAE came up. Your buddy, Tom Krasnicki, who's always harsh with the new ownership and anything non-Stu related, gave credit to the new owners of the Rays, because in his words, it looks like they're finally getting something done around here. And to their credit, they may be ahead of schedule because they want to move quickly on this, and it seems like they have the ability to do it. I had to watch it 3 or 4 times because I kept waiting for the cut down in it.
For the butt, for the butt,
But it didn't happen. So to his credit, maybe they're coming around a little bit. We'll see.
All right, now that you've delayed our boss for another few minutes, that was all Tim's fault.
I was giving them time to get up and make a drink.
How's that Bloody Mary, Johnny? How you doing with that? Good morning to you. John Gerber, PGA professional gambler. Where's he at? There he is.
What's up, fellas? So I heard a lot of talk. Of so I was just writing it and soaking it. No Bloody Marys, JP. I don't like tomato juice. I don't like tomatoes.
Okay. What's your morning choice?
Vodka with a splash of White Claw.
Vodka
with drinks or with other things?
With drinks. Okay. What's your 8 a.m. tea time charity golf tournament go to?
Well, I don't drink on the golf course. I got too many other problems when I'm playing golf to be drinking. And if I drink on the golf course, that means I'd be drinking 24 hours a day. So I have to have some sort of cutoff. Well, I think that's just my cutoff. But if I was going to sip on something, I'll do a vodka, a Tito's, and a cranberry, or a Tito's and a White Claw. We call them dirty claws in Texas.
Dirty claws.
You get a little Tito's and White Claw, but those are always good. Or little, here's what I've been kind of hip to, JP: a little blueberry vodka and lemonade. How about that?
Oh, that's refreshing.
Yeah,
blueberry vodka and lemonade. Oh, yeah.
Little. I mean, the sugar will make you run laps and start hitting into people, but I lost my thing again. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back.
Last night, honey.
This is Johnny's new theme. He's his camera, and he's blaming his camera for his technical ineptitude.
No, my camera does that too sometimes. It just decides to go out.
Well, his camera's about 7 years old, and I can't get him to get a new $30 freaking camera.
Yeah, I think we because
need to do that. When he taps it, like it messes up the connection. I still think it's user error, but
it could be, especially in this
still ain't
all
working.
right, so until he comes back, we'll start setting up the Valspar, which has an unbelievable field coming up starting tomorrow. We will be out there live tomorrow. Dragging Scotty Fitz out there tomorrow, so he'll be my partner in crime, and we're gonna do the show in the morning. Rondé will come over and join us. We're going to try to grab a couple golfers if we can as well. And then we're going to head on over, grab a little lunch in probably around 17 green there in the Snake Pit.
All right. What are we having for lunch at the Snake Pit? What are we having? What kind of sandwiches do we have at the Valspar? Set it up for me.
They had a chicken thing last year that was just out of this world. Ooh. So it's a Snake Pit. It's about 4 different hospitalities that you can pop around to. It's 16, 17, 18. And they all have like premium food, liquor, beer, wine, all inclusive. Great spots in it, great spots to sit, the chairs and everything. So we'll sit there on 17 and par 3, and we'll bet closest to the pin, have another cocktail, go have some food. They have an ice cream freezer there too, eclairs, all the good frozen ice cream stuff too. So you can gorge on that as well.
Killing me.
Yeah, usually to have a little charcuterie thing. Then they'll have the standard, sliders and hot dogs, but then they'll have some really good chicken dish, maybe a carving station. So that's on the menu for tomorrow. And then we'll watch golf too. We'll have a lot of fun watching the golf. So Johnny, it looks like Johnny's not going to join us.
I don't even see him. Well, I've got his picks here. Let's talk about his picks.
Let's do the picks.
Unless you want to build up the Valspar a little bit first. It is a huge field.
Yeah, ValsparChampionship.com is where you get your tickets. I was trying to find the latest coat of paint is the great Rick Odioso calls it when he puts out, he gives us all the latest news on who's coming, and JT is going to be there, and all the good. They think they had the pairings out yesterday. They're really good ones. Schedule. Let's see. Xander Schauffele now number 7 in the official golf world ranking after his 3rd place finish last week at the Players. Says it's good to be back. It's kind of a tricky course, and I've enjoyed the challenge. That's why I've been back the last few years. It just presents itself well with different wind directions. It can be a little intimidating. Schauffele will be right behind Victor Hovland at 8:24 Thursday on the 10th hole, pair with Patrick Cantlay and Keegan Bradley. Ooh, that's a good one.
That'll be
U.S.
really
Open champion J.J. Spawn is paired with Ricky Castillo and Billy Horschel, the Gator, at 8:35. So that's going to be a really good tee time right as we're getting out there. The afternoon wave is highlighted by Justin Thomas and Matt Fitzpatrick and Akshay Bhatia at 1:03 off the first. That's a good one. So we got interviews today with Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, and Akshay Bhatia. So, and this one, Tyler Wilkes got in as a Monday qualifier from Gaither High School. So we have a local high school kid that qualified on Monday. How about that, Johnny Gerber? A little high school action.
See if we get some action on him. I haven't seen him in the thing, but you might be able to get some action on him. But what an accomplishment that is. I mean, a high school kid, I know where Gaither is. I mean, they're usually pretty good. They actually had some pretty good talent that come out of. I had a couple friends that came out of went to Gaither. Eric Bertrand ended up going to play for Duke. And who is the other? There was a couple kids from Gaither that actually went on to play professional golf. So, they're pretty prestigious there, right there in the Tampa area.
I think they're right next to Old Memorial, I think.
Yeah.
Right there. Right next door to Old Memorial, the golf course. Yeah. So he'll have a nice contingent out there.
Get a little NIL money. How about that, JP? A little NIL money.
Yeah.
Never know.
So since high school players can get NIL money, do we still have amateur status in golf where if the kid wins, if he makes the cut and wins money, does he get to keep it?
Well, they have that parameter
so.
of $500 or more, right? So they changed it so many times. We don't know who's amateur or pros anymore. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you got college kids that are getting NIL money and they're still amateurs and still playing college golf and still can play in the U.S. amateur and things like that. So who knows these days? I mean, it doesn't. I don't consider anybody amateur these days because you're so much betting on the golf course. I mean, you want to claim it. I mean, so it's a little, a little touchy. It's a little touchy, but going back a little bit, JP, I don't have him on my card this week, but I like the kind of resurgence or the surgence that your buddy there, Jackson Serber, has been making. Yeah. Barely missed out on the cut or on his card last year. I think he finished like 131 on the money list. But it's going to get some spots. He fits in that category of 100.
He made over $1 million and didn't keep it's top 100 now. I think he was in the top 125, which is what it used to be, right?
Right. Yeah. At 125, but just imagine you make $1 million and you lose your job. And that's, I don't know him like you do, but I know his family lineage and he's not hurting for money.
They're fine.
So,
they're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine.
They're fine. But I like him this week. So if you want to root for somebody that's local, maybe throw a couple dollars on Jackson to finish in the top 20. Probably no one in the field knows that place better than him. And it's a place that it's a little quirky in spots, as you know, JP. And home course advantage certainly is something that it's going to be an advantage for some of these guys, especially some of those dog legs that you have. I know the rough is probably 3 to 4 inches.
It not only is it 3.5 to 4 inches. I think they said they're going to keep it at 3.5. But wow. Johnny, it's so dense. It's so dense when you try to go down and the ball goes all the way to the bottom. There's no way you're moving that more than 130 yards. So if just hitting the fairway is going to be crucial this week.
Yeah, and a little bit like last week, buddy, is like, I know they overseeded there, but overseeding isn't a science in the rough. So you could still have some of that Bermuda creep in. Only thing I could say there, it's been chilly in Tampa, I know. So it could have burned out some of that Bermuda. So, Bermuda grows east-west. Bent and rye grows north-south. So if you get 3 to 4 inch Bermuda, you can't play. It's like a ball sitting in a nest, and you just can't.
It looks exactly like we saw last week at the Players.
Oh, so then look at the guys, and this place is a little bit different than the Players. When we handicapped it last week, we always, in the past, we liked guys who were really good iron players, but it switched last week because we wanted guys that are really good drivers of the golf ball because of the rough was so high. And normally at the Players, it's not like that. You could have some misses and it didn't kill you. But this week at Valspar, you have to drive the ball well. That's how their MO is. I played the Florida Open there 10, 12 years ago, and it's extremely difficult, and it's not going to be any easier this week at Valspar.
No. Place looks fantastic, though. It is in great shape. And the greens are really, really fast. And that rough off the green, so, out that first cut, if you miss a green by, say, 2 yards, and you're not in that first, and you're in the deep rough, and you're short-sighted, you got no chance. You got no chance. So it's going to be very strategic. And so Victor Hovland, who won here last year with admittedly his B- game, but he made some really good shots coming in. And I think he birdied. Well, I know he birdied 16, which is one of the toughest holes on the course, and 17. I think he parred 18 to win by 1. But I don't know if he's on your card. I don't know if it's great value, but he's certainly hot. And
he's playing well, and it's something to look out. I know you're going to be out there all week, and it's great. I know you love going out there, but watch those guys. That's the hard part for me, is around the greens with these guys. You watch the guys that are chipping around the greens. They brought about 6 or 7 different wedges, and people don't realize a little insight because the bounce patterns are different. They'll shave them down. Like when they start to go north and they're playing off bent, they want a little bit more bounce, but when you get down there and it's really firm and the ball sits really low, they want something that doesn't have nearly as much bounce. So they'll shave down their wedges. So you'll see a lot of guys on the practice area playing around with different types of wedges this week. And the only reason I dislike this week, I love this week, Valspar. I hope they keep it. You and I talk about this all the time. How is it going to fit in the schedule? The only thing I hate about Valspar is it's the end of the Florida swing, and it makes me sad. And that's the only thing that I love the golf course. It's a true test, with the exception of par 71 that Tim hates. Tim loves it because you're going to 9 to 12 under par is going to win. That's just what it is every single year. And that's probably what it should be. That's the test that if you hit foul balls, you should be penalized. And you can't, and there's only, there's 3 par 5. So, that's one less opportunity potentially that they do not have to make birdie. But again, there's no faking it out there like last week. And the cool part is 2 weeks back to back. API is a little bigger ballpark when it comes to driving at Bay Hill. But these last 2 weeks, you can't fake it. You cannot fake it. You come in and you're struggling a little bit, it will expose you. It will expose you.
Speaking about driving, how about that drive Cam Young hits on 18 at TPC? I mean, the shot he hits at 17 is unbelievable. I mean, and he makes the birdie at 17. That was, he kind of fudged up 16 a little bit, but then 17, what a shot. I mean, talk about that thing at 17. There's a bucket of about 4 square yards to hit that ball.
At minimum, maximum.
Yeah. Imagine having the balls to pull a draw like that towards the water after you've already hit a couple in the water.
That's right.
Amazing.
Well, I thought 17 won the golf tournament, not definitively the drive on 18. I just thought that 17 won the golf tournament mentally for him. And, like Tim said, could you rate that as maybe the best drive ever? I mean, if you think about it, like,
don't tell Bryson that.
Especially on Saturday when he said, "Man, I hit a good tee ball. It just went in the water," and then he pulls that off with distance and accuracy 370. I know it was downwind and it plays
375.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think they said the longest drive that day was like 310.
Yeah.
So put that in perspective in a pro game, Johnny, that somebody hits it at that moment, which is one of the toughest, if not the toughest tee shot on an 18th hole in golf in terms of pressure when you're in basically a tight situation.
Yeah, I mean, the great part about him, that hole shapes him perfectly. He likes to hit the ball right to left. So if there's going to be a situation that it fits him going into the last hole, every hole should look like that for Cam Young, a dog leg right to left. But in those circumstances, it's unheard of. And probably the momentum and the everything that pumped up probably gave him a little extra, oomph, right? But I was surprised, to be honest with you, why he hit driver. I thought Freewood was the play there all day long for those guys, that they can turn it over, especially for Matthew Fitzpatrick, which, we had so many guys an opportunity in our card. Sepp Straka winning, Oberg winning, Cam Young winning. The only person that could mess it up is the bean eater, Matthew Fitzpatrick, that could have messed everything up for us with his toast and beans or whatever they eat for breakfast.
Nothing wrong with toast and beans.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure there isn't.
I think Cam's drive may have won it. I don't know. The shot at 17 was awesome, but once Cam hit that, I think Matt peed down his leg.
Yeah, there was a little drip there. There was some drip.
Does that affect you as another player? After the first guy steps up and first of all, you're going, hit it in the water, hit it in the water, and then he does that. You go, he's got a flip wedge on 18 and you got it. Now you got to hit.
Yeah. And I looked at it this way. I was glad that the reason why I said him winning the tournament was set up by 17, making that birdie, because it gives him the tee. It gives him first off the tee.
There you go.
And if he puts it like he did, all the pressure's on Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And he did. And now it could have easily flipped the other way. Like if he hits a little Wesley Snipes out there and it goes left in the water again, you kind of go the other direction, but he didn't. And that just goes to show, man, I just loved it. I just thought he would hit 3-wood on that and just hit that little nice right to left slinger that he likes to hit. But he was motivated. He was pumped up. And man, I watched him hit that tee ball. I actually thought he hit it too far because he did hit
so did I. When I saw it land out and then where it landed, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What did he just do?
It was special. And actually, the little wedge shot he hit was great. He got it on that back top tier,
Yeah.
even though he was on the fringe. He got a little rollout just because it was downwind and firm. But, man, I know we like it because we had a great card last week and we did well. But the Players' Championship lends for you to have those finishes every single year.
It's the best theater in golf.
I agree. I think it's – the Masters, you have that. But even the last 3 holes at the Masters aren't nearly as penal as 16, 17, 18 at the Players Championship.
The shot at 17 is most unique shot in golf, and just watching those guys shit themselves all day long just is the best.
Yeah,
it's great.
Let's get into your card, Johnny.
Let's get into your card. Sorry.
Yeah, I like, going into with some really good momentum. Yeah, we like it. I mean, Corey Connors played well last week. Again, iron play, ball striking 33-1. I really like Corey Connors. The overseed's going to help him a little bit. He's not the greatest when it comes to like the old school Bermuda, but he did win in San Antonio on very firm conditions. The overseed's going to help him. As you know, JP, he's going to have, it's maybe a little bit of a home game for him. There's a lot of Canadian people that's going to be rooting for him. A lot of people in the wintertime stay in Tampa area.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to feel very comfortable, and I like his form coming in from last week. Sahith Theegala, 36-1, has some really good success there in the past. I think he's getting comfortable and healthier week by week by week. If he can drive the ball and keep it on the planet out there, he's going to have a lot of wedge opportunities, and I like the way he is trending at 36-1. Great form by Austin Smotherman, 50-1, some really good value, and that's what we talk about all the time, value. Where can you find it? With the guy's performance, obviously the first 36 holes at the Players seem like he falters. One of the best ball strikers and drivers of the golf ball on the PGA Tour. Not the longest, but you don't have to be super long.
No,
at Innisbrook, you just have to keep it inside the white post, and I think he's got an opportunity to do that. 50-1. And this one confused me a little bit. Unless I know something that these guys don't. 82-1 from past champion Taylor Moore.
Yeah.
Finished second at Cognizant 3 weeks ago. Past champion 2023. Great form. He played well the first few rounds at TPC Players Championship. He just couldn't get it done. He got a little bad draw there towards the weekend. So 82-1, I like him a lot. The number's a little weird. Yeah, 82-1 number's a little weird, but that's just what it is. Two top 10s, Wyndham Clark at plus 620 and past champion Adam Hadwin at plus 970 to finish in the top 10. Wyndham Clark is resurging. I love the way he's swinging at it. I took some pictures and videos of him swinging at it. His lines look really good. Kind of the old Wyndham Clark when he won the U.S. Open a couple years ago. So I like where he's at in his game. If he can just not get pissed off and break locker rooms, I think the guy's going to have a decent week.
He was on your list now after that at Oakmont.
We'll find out if he stays on the list if he cashes in for it. So I'm going to give him a little help. I'm going to give him a little see if he can get back on the good side of me. But 620, Wyndham Clark finished in the top 10 is great. Past champion Adam Hadwin, I know he's kind of not going to get a lot of starts, lost his card. I think this is a good thing for Adam Hadwin at plus 970. Could probably humble him a little bit. I know he broke off with his caddy, Joey Cruz. I'm not sure if they're back together for this. I know Joey does live there in the Tampa area. So hopefully he got Joey back on the bag because I know that's who he won with when he did play, when he did win Valspar a few years ago. Two top 20s, two Alabama boys. Bud Colley plus 240 and Lee Hodges plus 370. Coming into some pretty good form. These are guys that are really good ball strikers, really good iron players. Lee Hodges coming off a pretty solid performance over the last few weeks coming into Valspar. I just think their ball striking is going to keep them in contention, knowing that you don't have to shoot 15 to 20 under par. I think they know that. They limit mistakes, especially a guy like Bud Colley, kind of get him back in the groove there. But I love these two guys at plus 240 and plus 370.
All right. Good stuff, Johnny. Thanks, partner. As always, wish you guys were here to enjoy it this week, but I don't know. You just don't like me.
The problem is if I get there, I won't leave. So we still got a lot of other work there to do. So I can't tempt myself to come into Tampa for sure. But I'll be there in a few weeks. I promise you, I'll be there in a few weeks.
By the way, JP, I don't know if you've perused our golf show this year, this calendar year, this season yet for the PGA Tour, but we've got a really funny gag where we're going now with my picks. We used to call them my dartboard picks, right? Where I'm not literally throwing darts at a dartboard, but that's kind of how I made my picks. Right now, we're letting my wheel of misfortune make my picks for me, where I pick 7 names that I like for the week. I put them on the board, and then I spin them. And Johnny picks if it's my winner, my top 10, or my top 20.
Okay.
And that's how I'm doing my picks for this year. And it's really funny, really, the way it works out.
Is it working? Is it working?
No. Of course not. It doesn't matter. Nothing works for him.
Did you make as much as Johnny did on his card last week?
No.
Well, I did because I bet on Johnny's picks. I don't bet on my picks. My picks are for entertainment purposes only.
Well, I'm
JP, he
loaded
couldn't
up
have
for
winners.
Valspar week.
He couldn't have winners if he knew the results after the tournament. Let's just say that. That's how off he is.
Hey,
Can't spell the names.
No,
that's true.
I got
How do you
it.
spell Smotherman anyway? Where that even Sahith Thagala? What is that?
yeah,
Smotherman
those are
sounds like a
challenges.
Seinfeld character.
Yeah, those are challenges.
Smotherman.
Yeah.
All right, get out of here.
Johnny doesn't know what Seinfeld is. You have to.
JP, have some fun. Have one of those cold beers. I miss you, buddy. I wish I was there with you. We'd have a lot of fun this week.
You know I will. All right, bud. See you. Thanks, bud.
Bye. From the rough, by the way, 6:00 Eastern, right here on FanstreamSports.com, live with me and Johnny.
Mm-hmm. This from Lonnie Wilkins. Team USA just looked so individualized, and those other teams looked unified, like they actually got along. It felt like USA was humbled, and clearly culture-wise, it didn't mean as much to them. I got to tell you, and the lovely Ashley's in the studio today, by the way. Are you going to make an appearance, honey? No, you're not? Okay.
Well, see her.
And she's off to my left. Come on, say hi.
I need one of those remote cameras where I can just move it over.
No, oh, she said no. But I was almost rooting for Venezuela last night. Every cutaway of DeRosa made me sick. I was like,
yeah, I kind of was too.
And then, just the attitude of it just looked like they were all constipated.
I was feeding off their energy.
Fun whatsoever.
Like their energy was contagious through the TV. I'm kind of rooting for you guys now, you know?
Right. And the US are just dour and blah. I don't know. And there was like nobody, Griffin Jacks got up there and pitched a great inning, and he had a really, really good World Baseball for us. And Clevenger, had a good one, but it's just, I don't know. And then of course I knew somebody was going to do it. It was, who the hell was it? Took his silver medal and threw it away.
Oh yeah.
Schwarber. It was Schwarber.
Yeah.
Which I said, having to stand there, like I felt like for Canada at the Olympics, when to have to sit there on the ice and get the silver medal and like,
just mail it to me. I'm going home.
Really, I mean, part of me is like sportsmanship. I'm like, nah.
After you just got embarrassed on the field.
Yeah. What else we got? Nathan Elliott said, Mike Evans said nothing bad about the Glazers, the Buccaneer organization, or the fans. He only said a lot of good things about San Francisco. Yeah, I know, Nathan.
I can see that viewpoint, but I disagree.
It just,
I think he underhandedly took some very backhanded shots at not anyone, namely personally, but the organization.
But listen, I've said this a million times. It's like, of course, the players are frustrated by all these other fans coming in. And I don't know who to blame. It's just, the tickets are expensive, really, really expensive. And so when guys are selling their tickets at, it's for certain games to make money back. I mean, how do you get mad at fans in this economy for doing that?
Yeah.
How do you get mad at, I don't know. And I know Brian Ford has done everything he can. They try to track the tickets and who you sell them to. Most of the people that sell the tickets, frankly, I think are brokers who buy, or season ticket holders. But they try to track how many you sell every year. It's impossible to track all of it because there's be private sales that are done. So I don't know. It's difficult, but I understand the players are frustrated by it. And if you could go someplace that doesn't happen and that's important to you, then you do it. So I get it.
It's also just part of sports these days. It's part of live sports, and it's part of being a fan. It's just something you're going to have to deal with. It's not going to change.
Chris Cole says should have benched Buxton for PCA because he was awful. Yeah, Buxton was awful. Yeah, a lot of them just really, really struggled. Until Harper hit the home run, he was doing nothing. Judge was 0 for 4 with 3 Ks last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
and
uninspiring.
none of his swings were close either, by the way. If
I
you
can
watch
tell you
his
this.
at-bats.
So my level of emotional rooting for the USA hockey team was a 10. And baseball, I got to give it a 6.5.
4 for me.
Yeah. No Dumper or no Henderson last night, Alex Nunn says.
Yep.
Now, Will Smith was playing well and and a big hit. So
former Ranger great.
But I mean, how do you not give the dumper a pinch hit spot? You know, at some point, and I don't know what because Venezuela was limited in their relief corps. So
well, especially after they tied the game in the 8th, you really thought this thing could go to extras, and I think you're trying to save your guys for extras if that happens. So
you're worried about it. Yeah,
you got to be mindful of that for sure.
And their closer, trying to remember his name, who closed it out last night. They had a conversation with their team, which I think was the White Sox. Maybe anyway. The point is,
it might have been the White Sox.
The team called Venezuela and said, "Look, don't use him back to back unless it's bottom of the 9th in a safe
closing situation." Yeah, a safe situation.
If the trophy's on the line, go ahead and use him. And I wonder if the USA had conversations like that. Like,
Palencia,
I wonder,
right? Thinking of Palencia,
yeah. I just wonder. I don't know. It seems like it just means more to everybody else. And if we're going to do it, let's do it. I don't understand Skubal driving 3 hours to sit in the dugout if he could have pitched. I mean, he would have been lined up to pitch the final.
Yeah.
Right? Which matters. I mean, Rodriguez was fantastic for them. What did he go, 5 innings, 4 2/3?
It was fantastic.
1 hit. I mean, career 5 ERA, dude. Like, nothing special. I mean, he was good last time. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but how much of it was guys flailing away at that freaking changeup? Like, lay off. It ain't in. He's not throwing it for a strike. Didn't have to. So why do it?
Palencia this year, by the way, with the Cubs, 1-6 with a 2.90 ERA.
Oof. Yeah, and what Rodriguez's numbers last year with the Diamondbacks? Like pedestrian at best. Alex Nunn says, JP, here's the real problem. Judge, Schwarber, and Bregman over $300 million in contract. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Henderson, who was 400 in the tournament, was on the bench. Yeah, I think Bregman, though, had really good numbers against Rodriguez. Like, he had 3 home runs off him and really good numbers. So I kind of understood that one.
Playing the numbers there. Rodriguez was 9-9 with a 5.01 ERA last year.
I mean, come on. Come on.
If you're America, you got to like your chances against that, but not so much.
Yeah. And as we mentioned, the Bolts last night, big 6-2 winners over Seattle to get that road trip started. We got to get 5 points out of it, so we got 2 with 3 games to go. So let's get another win and maybe a little OT. That's fine.
There it is.
All right. Anything else we need to get to? We get it all? All right, ladies and gentlemen, big thanks to Charlie Strong for coming in. Appreciate seeing the coach. Jim Lighthall, play-by-play man for your Bulls, joined us early on in the show. So if you want to rewind and you missed that, really good stuff, getting you prepped for USF in Louisville, which is 1:30 tomorrow. If you're out at the Valspar, please come find me and Fitzy. We'll be watching it at the big screen there that they have. And of course, John Gerber came in and gave us all his picks, which we are going to take to the bank like we did last week. All right. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you tomorrow live from the Valspar. Rondé Barber will be joining us again.